How are you? Good. Kate came all the way out also from Florida. There's a lot of Floridians coming in today. So, Kate, one thing about you that I thought was really cool was the fact that you took a lot of chances to get to your own core dreams, right? Now, what you really love is beauty and makeup. And that's not something that necessarily is really celebrated in other Asian cultures because I think in the way you put it, in certain Asian cultures, if you put on too much makeup as a woman, you're seen as a prostitute. Right?
Well, that's what my parents told me.
That's what your parents told you. How, can I have the first slide here? This was your first, this is your first experience in makeup, right? What's going on here?
So when I was in Thailand, I grew up in Thailand, and I always do Thai dance or join the competition or like dance ceremony at school. And I think that was my first time experiencing makeup because you have to put on makeup, but I was so young, so that was the only opportunity that my parents would let me wear makeup. And that's when I get to experience makeup. My mom did my makeup there, and it was a Thai dance at school.
So what did you like about makeup at 10?
So at 10, of course, every 10 years old, I was, oh my god, I'm so pretty. Because you don't get to wear it all the time. So at the time, for me, makeup was just something very surface, like superficial. Like, it just makes you look pretty. That's all I love about makeup at the time.
That you weren't allowed to wear makeup outside of performance?
No.
And if you tried to ask for it, your parents just said?
I didn't even try to ask for it, let's put it that way.
Okay, so you know. So from 10, and then I think in high school, right? The next few years you made your way to the States, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you lived with your uncle.
Yes, I lived with my uncle, and I moved to the States when I was 12 years old.
So what was the difference in culture between makeup in the States and makeup in Asia?
So in Asia, I remember before I moved to the States, my mom gave me an eyeliner, and she said, okay, this is the first makeup and probably the only makeup you can wear. So all I know is what an eyeliner is. So when I came to the States, that's me in private school, and I was in the bathroom where, all the girls are in the bathroom doing makeup, and then these 3 girls, they were putting on liquid on their face. And I was like, why are they putting on liquid on their face? What is that? It's a foundation. But I didn't know what it was because I only know what eyeliner was. I didn't understand at the time, so it was eye-opening for me.
So now that you're in the States, were you able to wear makeup more often or still not?
Still not. Even though I get to see my friends start wearing makeup, I still was not able to wear makeup. My parents still in Thailand, and at the time I lived with my uncle and my grandma, and they said, I think they're even more strict than my parents. They're like, no makeup at all.
So you found something you love, you found a culture that accepted it, and yet you still couldn't do it.
No.
Okay, very annoying, very, very annoying. So, but you already at this point start to know that you had a love for arts,
Yes.
right? So even if we look at the next slide, you were already volunteering in your high school right here in like art programs, right?
Yes. I was in Art Honor Society in high school, and I think that's when I discovered I want to go into artistry major, maybe architecture, interior design, but I know that art is my passion. So for this one, I was featured on Now's North newspapers in Chicago. Anyone from Chicago here? Yay! So I was in Skokie, and I got featured because we did an auction where Now's North High School opened an auction for painting for 6 hours. So you stay there, paint for 6 hours, and then someone come in and pick the piece, and then if they won, they donate the money toward African American Women's Society.
Now, around high school, toward your senior year, you also told me that your mom and dad had a very important talk with you. What was that?
So senior year, they said, okay, so what are you gonna go into college? What major?
And
I said, well, I want to do interior design, something art. And I'm being an only child, so they had like a big family meeting, and they said, how about medicine? How about something science? Even though I love art and I participate in a lot of art programs at school, I still do really well in other classes. So my parents said, hey, you do really well in other classes too, so why not consider that? And me being really good Asian daughter, I'm like, okay, sure, I guess I can do that if that makes you happy.
So you went like, I would like to do something artistic, and like medicine.
Pretty much.
Right. So at that moment, as an only child, you felt an obligation, right? But something happened between medical school summer, the summer before you went to medical school, and your graduation from college. You had an internship of some sort, like a part-time job, right?
Yes. So after high school, I did talk to my advisor, which she was shocked too. Because she said, okay, so which art program? I wanted to go to Art Institute of Chicago. I remember I went for a tour. I wanted to get scholarship there. It was on my goal. And I went to my advisor and said, so I'm going to apply for pre-med. And she just looked at me like, you sure? Why? So I ended up got in school for pre-med anyway, just because my grade was good at the time. And I graduated, major in biology, minor in biophysics, and during the gap year that I applied for med school, so I was on track to go into med school. And then I applied for med school, I got accepted. I have 6 months between class, like before med school started. So I talked to myself and I said, I want to do something that really is for me, not for my parents, not for my friends, my family, just for me. What would I do? Because I know that going into med school, I have to sacrifice my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm probably never gonna get to have a normal life ever again. So this is my only 6 months to do what I really want for myself. At the time, I got a part-time position because it was seasonal, like holiday, so retail wasn't as strict. They just want to get more employee. And I got the position at Sephora, which is like my dream. I was so happy, surrounded by makeup. My paycheck go right back to Sephora. I did not take any money home. So when I was working Sephora, I was just like, you know, surrounded by makeup, it's like you in Disney World for me. But what I realized later that it wasn't just makeup that made me really, really happy. It was customer coming to me with their problem and me being able to help solve their problem and make them feel confident again. And it's like they're having new life. And I feel like that really fulfilled me inside, not just makeup that's superficial and make you look pretty. And that's when I realized another definition of makeup and beauty. So I started doing makeup outside of work, taking freelance, like wedding, because in Florida it's a wedding destination, so I do makeup for bride, like after work I would go do makeup on top of that, and I just really love what I do. So that's how I kind of like start my makeup journey in Sephora, and then I start makeup tutorial video on Instagram. Back then, I don't think there was any Asian doing much makeup on Instagram, especially a full glam makeup, because back again to what you said in the beginning, in Asian culture, we believe that if you wear too much makeup, you might portray yourself as like prostitute, because, you know, I don't know, in Thailand, a lot of them were like colorful makeup, so my parents told me that. So for me, I look at makeup as like art, and I look at my face as like canvas. Since I didn't get to do art, so I'm doing it on my face. So I create an Instagram channel, and then kind of start doing and sharing makeup tips on there, which start going viral, and I end up partnering with a lot of major beauty brands, and I'm partnering with Sephora too. Laura Mercier, Benefit Cosmetic.
So you were building up all this momentum, you're getting recognition, you're getting partnerships, and then the big day.
And then my school started.
Medical school started.
And when I did that, like when I had Instagram, I did not tell anyone because I was so insecure about myself without makeup. Because a lot of people say, oh wow, you look so different without makeup. So I didn't want to do it on my own account. I created a new account, did not tell anyone. I just purely want to share makeup tips and tricks. And since my family didn't let me wear a lot of makeup outside the house, it was the only way I can express who I am at the time. So I created Instagram, grew like 20,000 followers in like 4 or 5 months, and med school started. So I literally told my follower, guys, I have to go back to med school. So I don't know if I will be able to continue posting content, and I talked to the brand too that I don't want to take your products and not able to like share about it. So I just want to be responsible because I knew that I had to go back to my duty for the family.
Now your mom and dad look pretty happy here. Were you happy?
I think I'm happy because they're happy.
You're
So
happy.
it made me happy. You know.
Yes.
You know the drill.
But how did you feel? Even though you're happy because they're happy, was there anything that was different now?
To be honest, before putting myself in like beauty industry, I pictured this photo, like before graduating, I pictured this photo, and this visionary helped me get into med school, I would say, because it helped me study with MCAT, it helped me staying consistent and being disciplined to get this photo that I dream of. But the feeling that I had then versus the real date was not the same.
What were you picturing and what was it actually?
When I pictured it, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want. This would be amazing. I would fulfill everything I ever wanted to. But when I got to that point, I just did not feel. I feel like yay. Like yay, but I shouldn't feel like yay. You know, it's like you got into med school and all the study.
Did it feel like a little bit empty?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said you pictured this to graduate, and that was basically, it wasn't picturing you being a doctor, it was picturing your family being happy.
At the white coat.
Yeah, right. And so you had your first day in med school. What was med school like?
Just everything that I didn't feel like I belonged. It's not everything I imagined. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong when I was in med school. I did not fit in at all. I was just me in school.
You are
And you know,
yeah.
you don't look like that in med school.
No, you're probably the most made up, beautiful looking med students I've ever seen because we don't look like
It's the Instagram med student nowadays.
Yeah, normally they're really exhausted, they look haggard, they look pretty much like because that's how I look. But none of my classmates look like that well kept and that well put together. So when you were doing this, were you just trying to like keep some part of yourself?
Yeah, I think it was the only part that made me happy when I was in med school.
How did your peers react to this?
They found me to be very different, and I think that's why I feel alone when I was in med school. I didn't feel like I could go to anyone to talk to. I didn't feel like I have good community to back me up, and at the same time, I couldn't tell my parents that. I feel like, okay, I'm going through this. Maybe it's just like when I first moved from Thailand. Like I didn't speak English. I was failing every class when I first moved from Thailand, and I didn't have any friends because I couldn't talk to them. So I thought, this is the same thing over again, and I will get over it. But I did not get over it, and I could not get over it. I could not understand why, because I'm like, this is what I wanted all my life, and I'm here, but I'm just not enjoying. Like, my friends, it was just competitive. It was just really competitive situation that I was in, and I could not trust anyone. I'm sure you understand what I meant. So I just could not trust anyone because it's just so competitive. Everyone wants to do better, or there's like residency that they have to fulfill the role, and there's unlimited position, right? So I think everyone's competing, so it's hard to find someone who truly care for you, who truly want to support you, and I just feel lonely.
So what made you snap and be like, I can't do this anymore?
So at the very end of first year med school, I remember I had to submit FAFSA application. And there's a deadline to submit it, but once you submit it, you kind of pay for your tuition. So that day is the day that I sat down and asked myself, because I was crying every day going to class. And I'm like, that's not me. I'm a straight A student. I do well. Like, I love going to class. Why is that? But it wasn't just studying. It was just the surrounding, everything that I didn't feel like I belonged there. So I asked myself a really, really big question was, do I see myself doing this the next 5 years? Not even 10, 5 years.
And what was the answer that came out?
No.
No. So what happened? Did you just decide not to submit?
And then another question I asked myself, am I happy? Am I happy? Not, is my parent happy? Am I happy?
Why do you think it's such a hard thing for a lot of Asian cultures to ask is, am I happy versus am I making my family happy?
Because growing up in Asian family, I feel like we were raised to prioritize our family happiness before ours. I mean, don't take me the wrong way, it's great. Like, it's a great thing to have, but at the end of the day, you need to prioritize yourself, your happiness, because no one is going to come save you. You have to live the life you choose, not your parents. And I feel like my parents still don't listen to their doctor. And they want me to be in medicine, and they said to take blood pressure medication. Like, I don't need it. I just eat less rice. And you want me to be in medicine? You don't even listen to your own doctor. Right? So they won't know what you have to go through. And I don't blame my parents, because I think at the end of the day, they just want the best for me. But I think as an Asian children, we take it the wrong way. We take it, oh, that's how we make our parents proud. But I think what your parents want from you is for you to be stable, to be able to make it without them, to be happy. And with their generation, what considered stable is status, right? It's status, it's degrees, education. It's not like now. There's so many things that you could do now that you can be stable, you can have a stable job, stable life. But back then, to them, which I did not understand, but later on, once I made the understanding to their generation, I see where they are coming from. It opened the conversation that actually made both of us understand both of our generations.
So when you finally decided to live life for yourself, how did you tell your parents?
Oh my gosh, it was so hard. It was scary at first. It's like you're about to break up a lifetime relationship. So I decided to call my parents, because my parents in Thailand. I called my parents and I said, I have something to tell you. And I made a decision that I'm not going to continue with med school. I can hear like silence through the phone. It's a silence for like the longest time. And they're like, are you sure? Why? Like, why don't you try again? Like, you shouldn't give up. I'm like, no, I'm not giving up on my dream. I'm giving up on your dream.
That's powerful.
But I'm not happy happy. I told him I'm not happy. At the time, I never had skin problems. My whole face was acne. My mom couldn't even recognize me. And that's when I had to put a stop to it. I'm like, okay, what else do you need to know, right? But I pushed through it, but at the end of the day, I have to check on myself. What is it that I really want? There's so many signs around me that's trying to tell me that, but I'm just ignoring it.
So after you broke up with your parents, so to speak, the big slide, what was the next several months like?
No one would ever see this photo.
No, this is a new photo.
So I moved back into like my apartment like after school, after I leave med school, and I think my life had to start all over again. And I think at the time I was like 24, 25. And can you imagine like going in medicine all your life and then there's just no more medicine. There's just like you and your dream. I mean, I was happy, but at the same time, I think my body didn't process that way. So I was going through, I think I told Francis the symptom that I have and he diagnosed it as depression.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was depression.
Almost suicidal depression. But yeah, and I don't blame you. I 100% don't blame you. But you had to like go through months of that because you had to
Like
reprocess,
3 months,
right?
yeah, I think about 3 months. It's like breakup, right?
Yeah.
We go through like sadness, so.
Did your parents constantly call you to remind you and try to encourage you to go back again?
No.
Good, you're lucky.
No, but they didn't talk to me at all. Like,
okay.
no, there was no talking, and I think at the time I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just want to hide in my room. I cried every day. I don't know why I cried, because I was happy. That's why I was not eating medicine. But I also cried, but I was still crying every day. I did not want to see people because I think if you're in medicine, everyone, when they see you, they're like, how's school going? Because that's the only thing going on in your life. And I know that if I were to go see someone, they're like, how's school going?
And what do you say?
I don't want to say it, so I don't see them.
Oh,
So
just don't encourage you to do it. Okay.
yeah, so I was just, I think I was going through depression for like 3 months, but I promised my dad that at least I will get a master. So I enrolled myself back in master program at the time and also start doing beauty influencer stuff again.
So how did you finally build yourself back up again?
So after the first 3 months, I'm just being honest, like I could not. Like I am strong, I know that, but sometimes you also have to feel. You can't always be strong, right? You need to be true to yourself, feel the moment. Like if you have a bad day, feel it, process it, and then take your time. Like I think the biggest point is taking your time, because I feel like with social media nowadays, there's just a lot of things that you compare yourself to. Someone can be successful at 21. There's like 6 years old that are making millions.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like you're like way past that. Like don't compare yourself. You know, so I think take your time, heal yourself, process it, because everyone has their own timeline.
Right. And then you finally put yourself up and you started going back out again.
Yes.
So what's going on here?
So as I was doing my master, I started filming makeup tutorial again. I was so happy getting my skin back. My skin started clearing again. The acne, I think it's hormonal stress acne at the time. And I started getting invited to event. This one was a beauty con event in New York with beauty brand that I walked the pink carpet and was styled by the stylist there.
So how did, as you weren't just a beauty influencer, you became a beauty entrepreneur, right? So what was your mission and your take that you wanted to create your brand with?
So at the time when I wanted to become a successful beauty influencer at the time, because that's what I did before I went back to med school. I didn't really think into like making beauty products or, cause I just did not study business at all. Like, you know, in college, if your major is in science, that's all you learn. You don't learn anything business besides pre-calculus, I think that's business, right?
Yeah.
Like math. So I didn't think I was gonna go into business route until I was reached out by investor that, hey, let's do a collab on beauty products. And I'm like, okay, because I got the marketing side, believe they help me with business side, and I agreed to do with them, and that's like when my beauty entrepreneur journey started.
Okay, excellent. So you're now able to combine your love of makeup and also your medical background. And so what makes your products so specifically unique now?
So now I somehow come back into medicine again. But I'm so grateful because I think everything happened for a reason. I think I went to med school for a reason because now all our products are carried in plastic surgery office. We work with dermatologists. We are in over almost 20 medical spa in Tampa, St. Pete, and Sarasota, South Florida area. We also are carrying in salon-centric now too. And I think with my medical background, it helped me realize, and especially when I was going through a lot of acne breakout, I lost a lot of my self-confidence. And I tried the most expensive makeup out there, and it's just not helped me boost my self-confidence. So at the end of the day, I think whatever you put on your skin or on your face, it's really important. Like, because regardless, if you don't have good foundation or good skin, makeup, even expensive makeup cannot cover that. So I become more mindful of the ingredient that I put on my skin, just because I went through it myself, and it was like a whole year of healing my skin back to normal and feeling self-confident back again. So when I created the product, I want it to be clean, like clean ingredients. And me, with my background in medicine, that's when I start picking it back up again to help create products that is vegan, clean, cruelty-free, and doesn't have any toxic ingredients in our products. Because there's so many beauty brands that, you know, advertise things, and the more I get involved, the more I find out what's in it.
So right now, your niche is basically beauty products, but with a really strong medical grade quality. That's awesome. Where do you see you coming out in the next, say, 3 to 5 years now?
So we have been growing our team a lot the past year. So I really do see myself with more innovative products in the future. Because at the end of the day, I want to simplify beauty routines, and especially for those that work in medicine, because we don't really get to take care of ourselves, especially when we're in medicine and we're expected to look a certain way. Like me in med school, like you said, you don't really see your classmate wearing lashes, right? First, we don't have time. Second, we get judged too for like, oh, you don't look like you would be in medicine, right? So, but I think everyone deserves to look their best and show up to do their best.
Absolutely. Well, is there any piece of advice as we have the last few minutes here? What advice would you give people who, because this almost sounds like the story of Ever over there, where her parents wanted her to go to medical school, but she was able to pivot. You had to pivot, even though you're in medical school. What is a piece of advice you would give people who are trying to find their own calling now?
So, like I mentioned earlier, it's really important to prioritize your happiness, and I know that, you know, us growing in Asian culture, we prioritize our family first, but at the end of the day, your family will love you and support you regardless of your decision. They just want you to be happy, but your definition of happy and their definition of happy might not be the same. So you just need to prioritize your happiness, explain to them, and they will understand.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from Florida.